right. Welcome to All Things Odd. We are going to take care of some logistics as we get some people just brought into the show here. We're going to put that up so that you know that we're here every Thursday at 12:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So today is a special day, and I thought that we would spend time talking about today. Let me just get this shared out to a couple more places. We'll get some friends in here, I think, because I think it's so important to get people in here for today. So today is March 3rd. And what's interesting is there's a lot of stuff happening on March 3rd every year. And one of the things I kind of looked up, what is happening on March 3rd. I think it's kind of interesting. And actually, Dr. Galloway doesn't know. And by the way, I'm Dr. Natalie Phillips.
And I'm Dr. Hannah Galloway.
I was shooing away a little fruit fly here. So we're here every Thursday with All Things Odd. Today is March 3rd again, and we are talking about it because it's special. But when I looked up what exactly March 3rd is, I thought it was kind of interesting because there are other things that I found that were pretty interesting about March 3rd. So, for example, March 3rd is also 33 Flavors Day. So again, Dr. Galloway has no idea. I kind of saved this so that I get her reaction. It's also March 3rd is Canadian Bacon Day.
Right.
March 3rd is also National I Want You to Be Happy Day. So Dr. Galloway, I want you to be happy. Happy March 3rd. Okay. March 3rd is also If Pets Had Thumbs Day. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding.
What's up with that kind of stuff?
I have no idea. I think it's hilarious. Okay. March 3rd is also National Anthem Day, World Wildlife Day, National Mulled Wine Holiday. It is actually National Soup It Forward Day. So we're supposed to be, I guess, enjoying soup today. It's also Simplify Your Day. It's also, this one's probably my favorite. March 3rd is also Talk in Third Person Day.
No. Absolutely not.
World Book Day. Okay, so lots of things happening on March 3rd. For me, growing up, March 3rd was interesting because March 3rd or 3/3 was always Girls' Day. It's some Japanese tradition. And 5/5 or May 5th was Boys' Day. And so all I remember growing up is that on Girls' Day, the boys are supposed to carry your books or whatever, your backpacks to class. And on Boys' Day, the girls were supposed to do it. Other than that, I had no idea what was happening, except I got stuff from my mom also and my mom and my dad on Girls' Day. So for me, March 3rd is Girls' Day. But for the world, also that in the audiology industry, March 3rd is actually World Hearing Day. So that's what we're here to talk about. So as you're coming in to our show, I thought it would be kind of fun to give you a little bit of trivia of what March 3rd was, as well as, talk about why it's so important. So really what's going on is we're talking about why we celebrate World Hearing Day. So I'm going to kick us off talking a little bit more about that. And it started with the World Hearing Organization, and it's observed to raise awareness, how to prevent deafness and hearing loss, and promote ear and hearing care around the world. And so that's why we actually celebrate World Hearing Day. Okay, this year's theme, 2022, is To Hear for Life, Listen with Care. So every year, the World Health Organization picks the theme, prepares brochures, flyers, videos that you can use, presentations to make people aware of that day. I am going to actually share this website. So this is, let me take this banner down so that you can see. So if you're looking for any types of information surrounding World Hearing Day, go to this website, which is the World Health Organization. And I'm going to kind of scroll so that you can kind of see. It's really interesting. There's their theme, To Hear for Life, Listen with Care. If you are making posts today, we want to also talk a little bit more about the hashtags. So right here, you can see the hashtags that they're recommending that you use. So hashtag safe listening, hashtag World Hearing Day, and hashtag hearing care. And then as you kind of go through here, there's different things that are going on. But if you want to go to some of those resources that they make every year, depending on what their theme is, it's all the way down here at the bottom. So there's information materials here, things that you can download. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And head over to the website. I'll post the website link in in our show as well, so that you can kind of see that. But I thought we kind of show where you would go to pick that up. So yeah, so that is their theme today, of the year, actually. And the history of World Hearing Day, really, I'm going to put the theme back up again, is that it was actually created in 2007. So we thought that was kind of interesting to raise awareness about hearing loss. It was initially called International Ear Day. But in 2016, they changed it to World Hearing Day. So as you're watching, if you are watching from somewhere, please say hello to us in the comments so that we know who's watching, where you're from, so we can kind of see how far we can get out the reach about World Hearing Day, because we're talking about it. But then also, even if you're watching the replay, whether you're on Facebook, YouTube, or my personal LinkedIn, it's going out in all those different areas. So say hello, say where you're from, so that we know who is going to be in this discussion and talking to us and listening and learning along with us about your ear and hearing health. All right. So these are just some statistics. According to the World Health Organization, by 2050, 2.5 billion people are projected to have a hearing loss, and 700 million people will need help. So whether that means hearing aids, some sort of amplification device, cochlear implants, 700 million will need help by then. Okay. Another statistic that they put up is that over 1 billion adults are at risk of permanent avoidable hearing loss due to unsafe listening practices. So along with their theme of To Hear for Life, Listen with Care, we're going to talk a little bit more about just hearing loss in general, when to actually test your hearing, and then also how to practice safe listening levels. All right. So, we all know facts about hearing loss, but the question always remains, when are we supposed to get our hearing tested? And I was looking it up and I thought it was 65, but actually some of the resources that I found state that probably by around the age 60, you should actually have your hearing tested. Okay. And depending on if you have a hearing loss, or depending on that shows up, or depending as you age and you're noticing that you're just not hearing as well, that's probably when you should get your hearing tested. If we start to notice that you do have a hearing loss, then we ask that you come back probably annually so that we can kind of monitor that hearing loss. If you go to the NIDCD, the National Institute on Deafness and Other Communication Disorders, there's actually a questionnaire where you can go through it, and they ask you some of these questions. So I'll post this link as well while Dr. Galloway is talking. But basically, when do you get your hearing tested? And if you can answer yes to one of these questions, it's time to get your hearing tested. Okay, so I'm going to read off some of these questions to you. Do you sometimes feel embarrassed when you meet new people because you struggle to hear? Do you feel frustrated when talking to members of your family because you have difficulty hearing them? Do you have difficulty hearing or understanding your coworkers, clients, or your customers? Do you feel restricted or limited by a hearing problem? Do you have difficulty hearing when visiting friends, relatives, or neighbors? Do you have trouble hearing in the movies or the theaters? Now, sometimes they're a little bit louder than usual, but maybe even watching TV, right? Which is the next question. Do you have trouble hearing the TV or radio at levels that are loud enough for others? Number 9, do you feel that any difficulty with your hearing limits your personal life or your social life? And then the last question, so these are 10 questions. Do you have trouble hearing family or friends when you're getting together at a restaurant? So if you answered yes to about 3 or more of those questions, then it's time to have a hearing test done. Even if you're struggling with one of those questions, I would say come in and see an audiologist and make sure that we can check your hearing. Okay. So that's a really quick.
It's never a bad thing to, check it before you're having issues too, especially like if your mom or your dad has a pretty serious hearing loss, maybe it progressed as they aged. What we see is we get young adults for other testing, and maybe a hearing test is just part of it. But then, they're kind of thinking about it because, oh, my mom has hearing loss or my dad does. And so it's nice to know kind of where you came from too. So even if you're in your 30s, 40s, it's good to get it checked once so we can kind of know where you were. Because if you come in and you're having problems, we don't know, how it's changed if we don't have a previous record.
Absolutely. Good point. Good point. All right. So then also what we wanted to talk about is, because their theme, again, the World Health Organization, their theme of World Hearing Day is To Hear for Life, Listen with Care. Dr. Galloway is going to kind of go over maybe some different things that you can do to prevent hearing loss through safe listening. So I'm going to, or actually, no, let's say, when should you protect your ears first?
Yeah, so I'm going to go. There's kind of two different criterias. One is the National Institute on Occupational Safety and Health, and they have a more conservative criteria. So I'm going to go with that one. OSHA has a little less conservative criteria, and so we're going to go with what's safer. So NIOSH says that 85 decibels is safe for 8 hours. And then there's a 3 dB exchange rate that cuts your time in half. So if it's 88 decibels, it's 4 hours. If it's 97 decibels, it's only 30 minutes that the sound is safe for. And 100 decibels is 15 minutes. So it's noise exposure is logarithmic over time. And so we have to look at more than just how loud it is. It's how loud it is and how long you're going to be in that environment. For some general tips, if you're at an outdoor concert, it's going to be safer than an indoor concert because that sound can kind of dissipate. Same thinking, the closer you are to the stage or the sound source, the more dangerous it's going to be. So, if you're wanting to be more safe, it's an outdoor concert, you can sit further away. I use an app on my phone called Decibel 10, and it's a very basic app, and it just has a little meter on it that switches from green to red. I think it's at 90 decibels, but it kind of gives you a meter. So you have an idea how loud is 85 decibels, because most people don't know and have no idea, if it's loud enough to be dangerous or not. Mm-hmm. So what you could do is download something like that on your phone. And if you see that the number is above 85 decibels, then you know that it's, not going to be safe for 8 hours or longer. You can kind of determine how loud it is and how long it's safe. And then, by lowering that exposure level by 3 dB, you're going to double your time. So let's say that it's 83 or it's 83 decibels, then you can do 16 hours. So you can kind of look at how loud it is and try to gauge, how safe it is. 8 hours was come up with because that's like a work day. So if you're working at a factory and you're on an 8-hour shift, what does that sort of noise exposure look like? So I know a lot of people aren't gonna, know exactly, but you can use an app to kind of teach yourself. And then you can also, wear hearing protection and things like that. Just be prepared. Because sometimes, it's louder than you expect it's going to be, like a sporting event or something like that. Maybe you don't go into it thinking it's going to be dangerously loud, but you get there and, it is bothersome. You can always, have earplugs with you. So.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. And I love the app that you mentioned. There's so many times where I pulled out a sound level meter app just to check. Yes, I am that nerd in the crowd. When I'm at a basketball game or something where I'm like, man, it's loud in here, I will pull my app out and look at it just to see. So I love that idea of always, having that app. I think it's even one that unless we're just audiology nerds, but I think that it comes with, right?
No, mine is a free one. But the iPhones now have some sort of internal device, because like your Apple Watch can tell you if the sound level is too loud. So I think there is some sort of internal feature. I use Decibel 10, which was free. And if you Google sound level meter apps, that's kind of what it is. It's like a crude sound level meter, so that you can kind of measure. We did projects in grad school where, we would measure things just to see how loud they were. And I shut the garage in the garage and it was 110 decibels.
What?
Because the garage door opener is right above your head if you're standing in the garage, and it's all hard surfaces and none of the sound is absorbed. This was at my old house. So it was probably louder, than a newer door would be. But yeah, it's 110 dB. But it only lasts, 2 minutes or whatever. So
sure.
We're still within, the safe zone. But
interesting. Wow, that's really cool. All right. So how about let's talk before we get to our next question here too. We're going to say hello real quick. There is somebody that is listening. Trent Barnes says, hello, I'm so interested in this. Years of construction has impacted my hearing. It's about time for me to come see you. Awesome. Well, if you're in town here in Fort Collins, Colorado, yes, by all means, please come to see us. If you're not, please still reach out to us, because we've got tons of great, amazing audiologists that can actually help you if you're not in our city or our state as well. So we wanted to say hello again as you're coming on, or if you're watching, please say hello from wherever you are, because this is World Hearing Day, and we'd love to kind of see how far we reach to be able to talk about awareness of ears and hearing. All right, so to
Well,
go
so far
back
we
to
reached to Missouri because that's where Trent is from. He's from my hometown. But definitely, Trent, get your hearing tested now, so then we can, track it in 10 years. It would be good, and the earlier the better on amplification, because it's now they're so user friendly that people don't even notice that you're wearing them, and they connect your iPhone and all the good things. So yeah,
Awesome. Yay.
new
So we reached to
construction for a lot of
Missouri. Good to know.
people. Yep.
All right. So again, as you guys are coming in, we'd love to see how far we can reach on today, March 3rd, which is World Hearing Day. And this is what we're talking about, is just kind of awareness of hearing, how to protect your ears, is what Dr. Galloway just talked about as well. Or when to protect it. Now it's going to be like, what can you do, or how can you prevent hearing loss through safe listening?
Yeah, so earplugs are a great option. Earplugs are not the only kind of hearing protection, though. I know a lot of people that, go to the shooting range, or maybe they're working with, chainsaws or something that's loud. Ear muffs might be easier, especially if you're working outside with large equipment. I realize you might not want to have earplugs in the whole time because you need to hear what's going on. But if you're going to use a power tool or whatever, if you have muffs that you can wear around your neck and then just put them on, before you're going to use that equipment, sometimes that can be easier. But if you're going to a sporting event, and you're going to be there for the whole day and it's going to be super loud, earplugs for the whole day is probably the best option. There's a lot out there, though. I mean, even before I went to grad school, I just knew of foam earplugs, earmuffs. That's it. There are so many different styles. So if you think they don't work for you, they don't fit right, it's just because you haven't tried the right style. They come in small sizes, large sizes. Some women even use pediatric sizes just because, maybe the ear canals are really small. But there is a good option out there. Just, you can even inquire, send us a message and we'll let you know. But there's more styles than you think. So I think it's just, kind of a lack of awareness of different options.
Yeah. Yep. And honestly, guys, like if you think about it, if you're in an area where there's a lot of noise and you don't have earplugs, these things right here, your fingers, pushing down on, or pushing into your ear, or pushing down on, there's a little area here that you can push into your ear as well, can also help too. So don't stand there and go, oh no, it's too loud.
Yep.
Literally take your fingers, stick them in your ears, if you can, and that will mute, a good portion of anything that might be damaging just for a little while, right? And
And
so,
even like paper towels, toilet paper,
Mhm.
that's going to be better than nothing.
Yep.
It's not ideal, but in a situation, you can always use that too.
Yeah, yeah. So again, this is March 3rd, World Hearing Day. Dr. Galloway, what is your favorite? What will you now remember March 3rd as, besides World Hearing Day, but some of the things that I had talked about? What will you remember
Um,
about March 3rd?
I guess I'm just always perking up with food because the Canadian Bacon Day is what stuck with me.
That's
But
so
some
funny.
of
I
those
thought
other
for sure you would say it's the if pets had thumbs
Well, I
day.
was gonna say that's more ridiculous. Like that's not a that's not a day. I mean, maybe if we were a vet's office, that would
Right.
be like something that we're celebrating. But yeah, Canadian bacon stuck with me, and then Girls' Day too. I didn't know that. That's cool,
Mhm.
especially to know that there is Girls' Day and Boys' Day. So that was my
Yeah.
cultural lesson for today.
Yay. Awesome. So come visit us every Thursday, 12:30 p.m. at Mountain Standard Time. We have fun just kind of shooting the breeze, chatting about different topics. Today just happened to fall on World Hearing Day, which is fun because we get to give you educational, informational facts as well. But again, if you have anything that you want us to talk about, send us a message. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be here next week as well, at 12:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on Thursday. So we'll see you then. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, see you next week. Bye.